Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Alex Dworkin, and I'm a managing partner at 40 Capital. We specialize in very unique mathematical approach to the stock market, where we calculate the stock market and individual stocks in three-dimensional space, and then we overlay it with various timing parameters that we have developed over the years to essentially predict the stock market or individual stocks in both price and time with what I believe to be incredible accuracy. I will include a link to description of our work that you can take a look at. You can take a look at the calculations. You can take a look at our formulas, what we do, prove, so on and so forth. Otherwise, it's just going to take me a long time to explain it all here. So we continue our series. Today, we're going to be looking at one of our fast movers, which is Moderna stock. I'm not a big fan of the company. As a matter of fact, I despise the company because of what happened during the pandemic. But nevertheless, our work indicates that the stock is about to bottom. And once it bottoms, it will increase quite dramatically going forward. So definitely a very good opportunity. Now, before I get into the analysis, I wanted to talk about our classification of fast movers. Some of you are familiar with that, others are not. Basically, what a fast mover is, let me just show it to you on the chart very quickly. Um, Let me open this one. Okay, here we go. Perfect. So a fast mover is a stock that has a relatively short period of time between a major cycle top and a major cycle bottom, or vice versa. So in this particular case, we're looking at oil. And there's a very short period of time, a couple of months, as a matter of fact, between this major cycle top and this major cycle bottom. But this is a very good representation of what I'm talking about. What we found in our research over the years is that typically big moves up or down happen when there's that short time window between a top and the bottom, or bottom and the top. So in this case, once again, there's a major cycle top, and then the oil collapsed into a major cycle bottom, which was a couple of months afterwards. And as you can see, the move was quite significant. But if you're aware of this situation, you can essentially make a lot of money, obviously, using options and so forth. It doesn't happen always. It doesn't happen in all stocks. But when we see it on the chart, it's a very good indicator, particularly if you add additional analysis to it, that the stock's going to move fast going forward. So with that in mind, let's look at Moderna stock and see what it's showing us. Let me click on this. Okay. So as you can see, those who have been following our work are familiar with these triangles on top and the bottom. These are cycle composites. This is one of our timing instruments that we use. Fairly complex. Basically, there are different cycle composites running in all individual stocks, both up composites and down composites, and typically there are multiples of them for any given stocks or the overall market. And basically what they represent the bottom composites represent the bottoms, and the top composites represents the tops in any individual stocks. But once you combine them, you can actually get a fairly accurate read on what the actual stock movements are going to be going forward. So as you can see in this particular case, we have a major cycle bottom arriving as we speak. It is scheduled for June 25th, as a matter of fact now. One thing you have to keep in mind is that these cycle composites have a certain margin of error associated with them. So the longer the cycle, the bigger the margin of error. So in this particular case, I should say probably plus or minus 2 months for the margin of error. So just because it says June 25th doesn't necessarily mean it's going to arrive on June 25th. The line you see on the chart is yet another timing variable or timing tool that we use that gives us a more concrete indication of the time turning point that arrives for any particular stock or the overall stock market. So what the system does or software does, which is very unique, I'm not familiar with anybody else doing anything like that. First of all, the cycles themselves are proprietary, but what the software does, it scans the market going back, it identifies all the tops and bottoms, it identifies all the cycles present in the market, and then projects them in the future. And what we found is that when there's a cycle cluster, not in an individual cycle, but when there's a cycle cluster that arrives in any given specific date, the more cycles, the better. The likelihood of the turning point occurring there is amplified significantly. Okay, so the line you see on the chart is this one of the clusters that we have, and as you can see, it matches nearly perfectly the cycle composite bottom that our cycles or our composite is projecting for around this time. Okay, so point being is that a bottom will occur soon for the stock if it hasn't occurred already. And then subsequently, the stock is expected to run up into this major cycle bottom. This is where the fast move variable comes into place. If we click on this, you can see that this particular major cycle top arrives in November of 2025. Once again, there's a certain margin of error associated with it, plus or minus 2 months, let's say. But it arrives very soon. It arrives within a 6 month from where we are today, probably even less. Okay? So that typically indicates that once this bottom is in, there's going to be a very powerful and um, very definitive move to the upside. As you can see, the stock has been in decline for many, many years, over 3 years, probably oversold. Haven't looked at technical indicators yet, but that's most likely what we're going to see if we do look at it. So nobody's expecting very much of anything from this particular situation, but our work, once again, our calculations essentially suggest that yes, it's going to bottom, it's going to run up here. So the question becomes, how far can it go? And let me show you some of the calculations. Once again, I'm not being very specific for a reason, but we do have this information in our free trial where we actually have exact targets for these stocks. So let me click on this, but this will give you indication of where the stock is going to go. The green regions are all possibility, represent all possibilities. We can run additional calculations that can be a little bit more specific, but in this particular situation, this green region probably has the highest probability, and as you can see, it increases into 225, 250 range. It is possible we go here, it's possible we go here, but as of right now, this green region has the most likelihood of projecting a top for that November, December of 2024, projected top for Moderna. Now, as you can imagine, that's quite a significant gain in excess of 200, 300%. And that's essentially what we specialize is we look for these opportunities, and our software is designed specifically to calculate the market in three-dimensional space, use various timing indicators that we have, and then subsequently project the bottom as in this case, and then it identifies the next stop, which is coming very soon. It identifies a fast mover, and in this particular case, identifies around this region as the potential top. And we know that the likelihood of making quite a bit of money with this particular position is quite significant. Of course, the margin of error associated with the stock is also there, and so yeah, that's one of the fast movers that we have that we identified for our subscribers. Once again, if you want exact targeting for this particular stock and many others very similar to this, I do encourage you to sign up for a free trial. And we don't charge anything. There's no strings. We don't require a credit card. So I do encourage you to contact us and take a look. You'll find the information at the links in the description of this video. So I think that's it for today. We'll be back with more analysis next week. Have a wonderful weekend ahead, and we'll be back. Bye-bye.